Developing Discrimination, Beloved Kuthumi's Address. Beloved children of God, I greet you in the name of the brothers and sisters of the Golden Robe. You have chosen through your very presence in this endeavor to become part of the activity by which we may acquaint the outer conscience of mankind with the truth of life. It is also our desire to bring to the attention of the race the knowledge of the spiritual hierarchy, under our Lord Sanat Kumara, and the conscious part which may be rendered by every incarnate life stream and every soul waiting the privilege of securing an earth body. Thus may they redeem their own personal karma by drawing back through the flame within their hearts the miscreations of the centuries, making of this earth a beautiful shining star of freedom, which will have attained the right and honor of permanent place in the solar system, one of the beads in the great cosmic necklace around the sun behind the sun. We have loved this earth. We have chosen to forego our own greater happiness and freedom on other planets. When we were given the opportunity of stepping into the heart of the ascension and passing into nirvana, we chose to renounce that bliss and freedom, to work among you and with you in an endeavor to make of every man a god, of every life stream a glorious song of life and light, and of every heart a chalice in which burns freely the immortal flame of God. In this way, the glorious divine pattern and plan of the Christ will be made manifest through each heart. It will reveal the mastery which the beloved Jesus and other masters well known to your outer consciousness have achieved through the same self-conscious endeavor, which we ask you to incorporate into your daily living. Beloved friends, over the continent of Asia stands the Elohim of wisdom. Within the heart of that continent has been preserved the wisdom of the ages, since the passing of the golden eras when mankind spoke with God freely, without the necessity of a mediator or an intercessor. India, as you know, represents the head of our gracious and beautiful planet. This great Elohim has chosen to weave over all of Asia a glorious golden mantle from his own cosmic heart. Those streamers of light in the most exquisite, deep molten gold make a canopy of blazing light over the continent. From it are being directed ribbons of light into the retreats and sanctuaries where conscious students are gathered. These ribbons of light are carried by angelic beings. Each ribbon is gathered into a 7-pointed crown, which will be placed on the heads of the students and fastened with a lotus on the forehead. As you feel that action, will you just accept it, for it becomes, in reality, a funnel through which the substance of the Elohim may enter the brain structure. This gives certain assistance in the dissolving and melting of the atomic consciousness, which has coated the brain and makes it more difficult for the finer vibrations of the presence to reach through and to be interpreted without mistake by the outer mind. Beloved ones, on the way to mastery, everyone comes to a place on the path when he no longer looks for the teaching without, but he begins to turn to the still, small voice that is within. He then begins to rely solely on intuition, next upon inspiration, and later still, upon a conscious contact with the presence, which precedes self-conscious mastery and divine freedom from all human concepts and all human form. This is the most difficult point upon the spiritual path, particularly for those who have sacrificed the life in the East with its mysticism, its gentleness, and its peace for the more rugged existence in the Western world, where your energies are woven so often into the mundane tasks of making a living. The finer energies that should be incorporated into sounding the depth of your own being are oftentimes depleted before you have attained freedom from the demands of your daily service to life and our liberty to proceed on an inner search. It is to you that I speak primarily tonight. I would warn you that when you come to a point of entering into the heart of the silence, where you commune with your own God self, you must be extremely careful of the response that you will receive, first of all from your own bodies and your outer consciousness. You are a complex mechanism, a sevenfold individual in your own right, and whereas the glory of your electronic body, your causal body, and your holy Christ self could never lead you astray, those lower bodies in which your soul functions have voices, have consciousness, and have desires, appetites, and wills of their own. These voices, this consciousness, these wills, and this intelligence within them often endeavor to serve their own ends through deceiving the outer mind as to the source of the direction. Those of you who are students of the law may remember how the Chela Krishnamurti was given by Lord Maitreya among the requirements for spiritual mastery, the quality of discrimination. See at the feet of the masters. As I speak to you, may I point out again the necessity for the development of individual, mature discrimination. I congratulate you for the discrimination within your own life streams that has enabled you to discern our presence in this new endeavor, and to accept even a semblance of truth in that which we say. For yourselves now, I ask you call to the great Lord Buddha, my beloved Master, the Lord Maitreya, or to myself if you wish, for that discrimination, wherein you may recognize the voice of the silence. Know always that anything which builds up the personality, anything which seems to give aggrandizement to the human ego, is not the still small voice of the presence. It is but the rambling of your own etheric body, the desires of your feeling world, revivified mental concepts and precepts from other lives, or the voice of the body consciousness desiring to fulfill its appetite. Beloved ones, in all the lives you have lived, you have sat before many teachers and have given forth both truth and fallacy. Into your mental bodies are builded these concepts, some of them solidified, petrified, and lying dormant there for centuries. As the flame begins to surge through you, that which is dormant within your world is again revivified, and the remembrance of those teachings come forth. You must be able to recognize them for what they are, not necessarily the voice of truth, but echoes from the past. I wish to give you the prompting that always by the side of the earnest seeker will stand a brother or sister of the golden robe, if you choose to invite them. As you proceed into any understanding of the voice of the silence, you will know that anything which makes you humble, anything which makes you selfless, anything which makes you loving, anything which makes you pure, anything which makes you harmonious is prompted by God. The feelings that stir within your heart, that desire to make of this star a planet of light, to relieve the burden of your fellow man, to raise those in pain and distress into understanding the harmony, that is of light. That which decreases the personality and increases the power of the Christ is of God. Ponder my words and my feelings. As Lord Maitreya spoke to the disciples this evening in Kashmir, I am sure their hearts were filled with the love that was within his aura and expressed through his words. Into the heart of Kashmir have come the blessed sisters and brothers from Peiping. From Lhasa have come the delegates from the Dalai Lama. From China have come the brothers and sisters of the Order of Confucius. The Buddha has come from Malaya and India, and the Brahmins from the Indian temples as well. Some of them have been from a month to 6 weeks en route, and they had no bridge, no outer world or sign, no letter by which they knew the gathering was to take place there. They had only the magnetic pull which they felt within their hearts. In answering that, they rose up and followed the path of the heart into the vale of Kashmir. Already over 10,000 of the pilgrims and nomads of Egypt in their physical bodies are gathered there. It is a large, round, bowl-shaped valley, the hills rising gently around it. Those of you who have been to Kashmir know the beautiful colors of the flowers, the exquisite songs of the birds that I have neither seen nor heard elsewhere upon this earth. Within this environment of natural beauty, the great ones, who are the brothers of the golden robe, are playing host to those who are the teachers of the secular activities of the outer world, and the leader of religious orders of every kind, orthodox and metaphysical as well. Early this morning the beloved Lord Buddha took his place on the elevation which faces east, so that all the disciples looking toward the altar at which the officiating brother is presiding might have the blessing of the Easter light. Lord Buddha in his outpouring spoke no words. He made visible the outpouring from the great central sun which, anchored within his own ascended master body, looks very similar to the stream of light from your presence into your head and heart. In the case of the ascended being, the connection is from the central sun behind the sun, and of course it is very much wider and enfolds the entire ascended master body and aura as well. The aura of the beloved Buddha is larger than our entire planet. As he opened the inner sight of all the pilgrims, they could see those lotus flames floating down from the sun into his being, and then outward to cover the entire planet. Lord Buddha's electronic pattern is the lotus. This is the blessing which the celestial one brings when he descends into the octave below that in which he normally abides. I would like to point out that when an ascended master or a cosmic being like Lord Buddha rises into the higher octaves, the periphery of the outpouring which forms his individual stream of light, connecting with the central sun, ends in the sphere in which he abides and does not descend below that. It flows out and fills that sphere, returning again into the heart of God. If that being descends into the lower spheres, the outpouring from his tube of light in his own silver cord descends with him and becomes a worldwide benediction. Those celestial lotus flower vibrations are now flowing forth from the Buddha, permeating the whole lower atmosphere of the earth. As each one looked at the great cord of light representing the life stream of the Lord Buddha, the Chila's life stream and cords of light began to expand too and enfolded their physical form. Through example and radiation, everyone watching the Lord Buddha endeavored, in a lesser degree, to radiate the blessing of their own divine pattern through their auras. At the close of this service, he retired into the invisible. The beloved Lord Maitreya then gave a worded expression of love to the shepherds. His devotion to the soul light of mankind would melt the heart of a stone. He spoke of the tenderness which a shepherd should have for the spiritual development of man, for the delicate petals that are beginning to sprout from the soul of he who is awakening from the sleep of the ages, and which respond to kindness, to love, to understanding, to compassion, but which can be shriveled up by an unsympathetic, rough, or careless attitude on the part of those who have been entrusted with their care and development. As he spoke, he individualized before the assembly an innocent soul belonging to the Orthodox world. He showed the tiny white soul light like a small, tight rosebud within the heart. He, the individualized, a beloved Orthodox minister who is presently embodied, showing the love and light from the emotional body of the minister which poured into the tight bud. The soul light began to respond timidly, uncertainly at first, and then, as the strength of the brother of the golden robe, who was guarding the minister, intensified the compassion and the wisdom through that man, the soul got enough strength to become an active server of God in that church. He then drew a curtain over that example and rendered us another service by showing another minister with a life stream strong, vigorous, and powerful, but who yet thought of self more than the budding self, and how that strong, dominant, overbearing personality of the would-be shepherd closed in the light of the young soul and caused the endeavor of the individual seeker after truth to cease any further spiritual activity for that entire embodiment. These pictures are beautiful, they are descriptive, and they show the Chilas, who are our hope, how important it is to be careful of the light in the hearts of those who will come to you in hundreds and in thousands. We hope we can find among you those who love God and your fellow men enough to choose to bring light, understanding, confidence, faith, and hope to hearts that are bewildered and in a spiritual agony and pain. As you accept the light in the heart of Kashmir and accept my own love, I would have you remember that I am no farther from you than your call, that I am willing and more than eager to assist you, and that I am desirous of giving my love through your life stream to the peoples of earth. St. Teresa once said, "You will remember that Christ had no hands on earth to bless but hers, no eyes through which to see, no lips through which to speak, no feet by which to carry the message of God, but hers, and I say to you the same. Lord Maitreya, the Christ of the universe, Lord Buddha, the heart of love, my humble self and all the brotherhood are dependent on your bodies, your feelings, your consciousness, and your desires through which we may endeavor to reach mankind. We stand in the heart of freedom. We stand in the realm of truth, and our hands are stretched out to mankind, but mankind does not even know we exist. They do not know we have been, but you do. Only through you, each one who is the bridge from the human to the divine, can we reach the mankind of this earth and give them back the understanding by which they may set their feet upon the path and return home. The path lies open before them, and their presence stands at the end of the way. There must be those among the sons of men to point mankind toward the way, and to stand by in the rough places, ease them by love, encourage them by light, and give them the impetus of example and manifest works until they come to a point of enthusiasm in themselves. Then they too will become their brother's keepers. Beloved hearts, I thank you with all my own full gathered cosmic momentum for even a mental acceptance of the brotherhood. I thank you for expressing even a passing interest in our work and service. I plead with you that in the secret, silent time of your own prayers and meditation, you may ask the voice of your own God presence to reveal to you what a kindness to life it would be if you should choose to incorporate your energy in unfolding the soul light in the men and women whom life will draw about you. If you so dedicate yourself to such service after prayer, I ask you to consecrate your life energy after thought and consideration, not in a wild burst of zeal that dies down like the fires that are made from the hay of the fields, but in that steady, constant flow of love divine, which enables you to pass through every experience untouched. Those of you who wish to serve with us must have but one thought: to carry the cup of comfort and not waste a drop of the sacred essence until it has reached the lips of the thirsty, until it has filled the souls with the same hunger and thirst after righteousness, which will not let that soul sleep again until it has become the fullness of its own God self. When you can so inspire the conscience of mankind to the realization and desire for mastery, then you have become ourselves in action. I thank you. Kuthumi.